Hi, and welcome to the White Hat versus Black Hat SEO show. My name is Josh Bachynski. Josh Took. Now I'm wearing a hat, Bachynski. We call it a toque in Canada because we're part en français. Oh, and I didn't mute myself. Damn it. Yeah, there we go. So if you haven't seen the show before, we are the finest SEO show on the YouTubes. We are the finest SEO show on the YouTubes because we have the best hats. We have the best Krampus shirts. And we also use the most stringent and finest levels of SEO scientific testing. We can test factors down to a very fine-grained scientific detail, and we can tell you what are actual SEO ranking factors as opposed to other people who just guess. You know this thing called science? We've been using it, and it's pretty good. If you don't believe us, go to bit.ly/SEO proof, and you can see some of our results there. We have at least 180 pieces of evidence that indicate that we have half an idea of what we're talking about. And so you are definitely in the right SEO show. You're definitely at the right place for SEO knowledge. And if you have any SEO questions, we're going to answer them live on air. Ask your questions up here on the top right-hand side. And try to make sure that any questions for me have asterisks so I can see them with my giant Coke bottle glasses. What would it look like if I had glasses that big? That'd be pretty cool. So to start off, we're going to start with what's new in SEO, as we always do. That's the first segment. And basically, we're having flux again. Cam, who is in my mentorship group of science SEO professionals, doing the most advanced state-of-the-art SEO science and finding mind-numbing, mind-exploding SEO secrets from Google. It tracks the volatility of Google on a regular basis, and he says we're all the way up to 27%. If not 30% volatility, which is, it's usually around 15%. So we're up 15%. That usually means an update's happening. Things are rolling out. Things are going on. Krampus is attacking. So if you don't want Krampus to attack your site and destroy your SEO, I strongly recommend you get into the groups, into our science groups, and figure out what the heck is going on. So pay close attention. Of course, Barry Schwartz, my friend, Barry Schwartz from SEO Roundtable, down there in New York. He also noticed that the message boards are talking about some changes that they have today in the Google SERPs as well. So we got some independent confirmation about that. So things are fluxing around. If you asked me to give you, it's too early to tell what this update is about, but we don't really need to say what this update is about. They're kind of doing updates every week to 2 weeks. It's like, what are the updates about is the question. What are all these last updates about? And for the most part, these last updates have all been about relevancy. And relevancy breaks down to two things. If you haven't heard me give you this sermon before, this guy sure has. I'm sick and tired of your sermons, Josh. Relevancy breaks down to two things. One, keywords. Do you have keywords on the page that say you are about red apples? Then you will rank for red apples, or a much higher chance that you will. You'd be surprised as to the power that has. And two, do users searching for red apples go to your red apples page and then they do positive things like they stop their search, they click on your conversion button, they do whatever it is users are supposed to do for happy signals, and they do not bounce around the site and they do not bounce back to Google. We've scientifically tested these. I'm not just making this up. This isn't me just imagining what the algorithms are. We've scientifically tested these. So that's what in general you got to watch out for. There's a bunch of other things. There's some other secrets we discovered around EAT that were very important, very interesting. So let me just put this on straight here. There we go. So there you go. So that's what's new in SEO, and it's not really new. It's been going on since March of last year, April of last year. It's going to continue going on. Google's AI is now choosing the ranking factors. So you really got to be careful, and you really got to go to the science group. I like to say the SEO industry is kind of dead. The SEO industry is dead. The only SEO industry that really exists anymore is my group and groups like my group, my associated loose collection of groups and friends who are in SEO doing SEO testing. We're the ones who can reliably put sites on page one. The rest of the industry can't. Look at the stats. Look at the stats that Martin McDonald put out. Look at the stats that Barry Schwartz put out. So anyway, that's what's new with this neck of the SEO woods. Ted, what's new with your neck of the woods? We've been hearing some very interesting Korra stuff coming from you lately. What can you tantalize us with now?
Well, there have been changes at Google. So Korra users might have noticed that gathering Korra data from mobile is broken in 4.6. Well, I released an update today, 4.7, and it has the fix for mobile. So Google can change the game, but we can respond in less than 4 hours and be back up and running. And in 4.7, we have sharing. So you'll notice that there's a share button. It's on by default, but it is all anonymous. We do not share your keywords no matter what. So that stays private to you. We never see what your search terms are. But we do share anonymous factor data so that the whole scientific community can benefit from which factors appear to be the most broadly applicable. If you do not want to participate in sharing, you can click the share button in the Korra toolbar and uncheck it, and you will not share at all. So that's that change, but I hope everybody participates. We really need the data. So it's really a great time to come together as an SEO community, and let's figure out some of these mysteries.
Yeah, just to talk a bit more about that. We talked about that last week, and I just want to say, one, kudos to Ted to being able to pull that out in a week. It was last week we talked about it, and then boom, he's got it built in there already. Two, do you realize how mind-blowingly crazy this share thing is? So basically what it's doing is it's going to take all the factors we're finding is correlating among everybody's Korra reports, and it's going to make essentially a leaderboard of all the most important correlating factors. This is information that we've not gotten since Moz used to do these kind of correlation reports, but Ted does it way, way better. And Search Metrics, run by Markus Toba over in Germany, used to do these huge correlation reports, but Ted does it way, way better. And this is going to give us a huge amount of intelligence, a huge amount of SEO ranking power. We're going to be able to peer through the curtain and know in a way we've never been able to peer through the curtain before. If you share your data, so share all the data. So don't do it. I mean, do it for the altruistic reasons that Ted just mentioned. But if you're all really selfish little SEOs, like I know some of you are, do it for your own benefit, because the more data that's in this thing, the more powerful it's going to be. You could already run this with the Korra Trends tool on your own reports. If you had, whatever, 10, 20, 50, 40, 100 reports like I do, you could run Korra Trends. You could already see the trends amongst your own reports. But now this is just anonymizing and globalizing all that information, and it's going to be so, so powerful. I cannot recommend more how good this is getting and how much you need to check that out. If you want to check out Korra, if you want to check out what we're talking about, go to bit.ly/get-Korra. That's for 25% off per month and every month. I would use that link before Ted comes to his senses and tells me that I can't give that out anymore. So go to bit.ly/get-Korra for 25% off and check out Korra. Now, Ted, I got to ask you, how are we going to get to see the results of this data? I'm putting you on the spot a bit. How's that going to work? What are the preliminary, no promises, but what are the preliminary thoughts along those lines there?
Well, first we have to get a critical mass of data. So there's nothing to see until people participate. But once we have that critical mass of data, I'm planning on creating another Korra tool that lets you query into that data. And so you'll be able to create custom reports into that data that make sense to the things you want to look at, the things you want to explore.
I'm excited.
So, I'm basically just going to give you the tools to let you figure out how best to use it, to let you explore it, let you figure out what information is valuable, let the community tell me what I should do in order to make this better for everyone.
Oh, that's great. And that's so amazing. That's wonderful. So, and you're also going to have built in with it the custom filters we already talked about along the sales search funnel?
Oh, yeah. People are telling me that 4.7 doesn't appear in the installation pages. I'll have that fixed in about 10 minutes or so. Sorry, oversight.
So stop bugging him so he can fix it.
Yeah, triggered the update button, but I didn't update the download links.
we prematurely updated. We got excited. And is this data still going to have the custom filters we talked about along the lines of the search sales funnel, so people at the information level can see what the ranking factors there are? The no-do level.
And I actually went around and talked to other people about what we need to include, and I've expanded the data that we're collecting, the numeric data. So we're going to look at the different correlations as well, and we're also going to keep track of, for each case, how many non-zero values were there for a factor. So how broadly applicable was it in each result set? Things like that. So we're going to try and get the full set of analytical data, because I know there's a few academic statisticians who want to slice and dice this data in a very specific way. So I'm making sure we don't drop the ball on that stuff.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. The more scientific rigor we can put into it, the better. The more intelligence we're going to have against our enemy, Google. Okay, sorry, it's the hat. It's cutting. It's making my brain too hot, and it's making me excited. So we have other exciting things going on as well. I just want to let you know, there's this website called Facebook. Have you heard of it? It's got traffic on it, and you might want to get some of that traffic. And our Facebook expert, Melissa, is here to tell us what's new in the Facebook world. Melissa, how are you doing?
I am pretty awesome, as always. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm wearing a hat. It's making my brain hot.
I see that.
And what kind of new Facebook stuff do you have for us this week?
Well, again, it's not super new, as in Ted 4 hours ago birth new, but I was thought I'd mention the Facebook attribution tool, which is something that is new-ish. Just out this fall began rolling out that people could access it. Anyways, the cool thing about it is it allows you to track the full conversion path when you're doing Facebook ads. So rather than last click, you're going through and it's tracking multiple sites, et cetera, across different channels and devices, which of course is great when you're trying to convince people to use Facebook ads, and it allows you to actually measure your ROI. So you can find that in the ads manager under measure and report, and there's just attribution, and then you go in there and set that beast up, and it is a beast. You'll spend some time going through, definitely read some how-tos and what's the best way to work for your company. But once you have it set up, it's really interesting, the data it gives you.
Yeah. Before this, you could really only see that in Google Analytics, and Google Analytics and Facebook don't talk to each other very well, and so the numbers are usually quite off. And it's difficult unless you're doing some kind of cookie setting or some parameter setting to tell the difference between Facebook ad traffic and Facebook organic traffic. Yeah, I found it interesting. We were talking about Facebook recently, and we noticed that Facebook has a whole ton of traffic you can get really cheap. And ignoring the SEO benefit, which we've already noticed happy traffic is a boosting signal, but sending this just traffic that's higher up in the sales funnel, that's higher up in the decision process, pointing them to videos, pointing them to kind of softer sale kind of pitches or information, maybe about brands, and skipping the sales funnel, and then using the pixel to retarget to come back later on and purchase. That's definitely for the win.
Yeah, so this tool allows you to go, okay, they clicked on Facebook ad, then they went to Google and looked at it, and then they turned it off, then they went to their tablet, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So, and it allows you, if you are doing marketing for other people, you can at least have a data chart and show things to your clients, or you can look at it yourself and go, okay, I thought I was wasting money here, or I thought my ads were doing great here, and then they're not converting. So it is a great tool. It'll take there's a sharp learning curve to it, but it's really a interesting thing for Facebook to develop.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Melissa. Okay.
No problem.
So now let's move on to the Q&A portion of the show. For all you folks who have SEO or Facebook or internet marketing or Korra questions, you can always ask us at the top right-hand side here live on YouTube. You can ask us. Please put some asterisks beside it to make sure I see it with my big, ugly Coke bottle glasses. But Also, if anybody here I have on the call, these are mostly students from my mentorship program. Looks like if you guys have any questions you want to ask, go ahead and ask them now if you have a microphone. Otherwise, I'll start reading through the questions here on YouTube.
I have one at Melissa. This is in regards to some of the reporting and use of the attribution tool on Facebook. Have you written anything article-wise to reference, or anything that would sort of
No, I personally haven't. Social Media Examiner is always a good one to turn to for when you're just starting. They do a good layout. If I can, that's the one that pops to mind right away. I can always throw some more links up in the group too of different how-tos, but that's where I would start. Definitely that's where I tend to always start. Is there.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Any else here have any questions before I get to the YouTube questions? Go ahead. Stuff in your SEO questions there on the top right-hand side. Is today like a holiday or something? Somewhere in the States or something? Where everyone have the flu? Because we only have 24 people watching. Normally it's double or not triple that. So I don't know where you all are, but who knows? Maybe today will be the day I'll let out some SEO questions. You never know. Some SEO secrets. So get your questions in the chat. Okay, Med El Asal asks a very interesting question. What is the importance of backlinks in 2019? Funny you should ask. So what's the background on this question? So lately in the SEO industry, before Christmas, my ex-protege and my ex-co-host, Chase Reiner, was trying to put out a course and was kind of pumping out information along the lines of which that he does not see the value in any backlinks. He doesn't think you need to make any backlinks. He thinks you can rank without backlinks. He does this without any proof whatsoever, of course. And sadly, the proof he touted to show that you don't need backlinks to rank was proven to be false. So he had falsified that data. And if anyone wants that information, I can send it to you. I have the proof that he falsified it on this computer over here, not this one that I film on. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that people have been saying that you don't need links to rank anymore in 2019. Well, that's not necessarily true. And so you asked a better question. You asked, what is the importance of backlinks in 2019? Well, according to our scientific testing, you are definitely benefited when you get backlinks. The backlinks that you want to look for in 2019, they have to have what I like to call plausible deniability. What was that, Mr. Bird? He said plausible deniability. Plausible to whom? Plausible deniability to whom? Plausible deniability to the Google manual team, who might get flagged to look at your backlinks and decide for themselves, did this person purchase those backlinks or were they donated? That's the kind of thing that they need to determine, and that's what I want you to have plausible deniability for. So our scientific testing has proved what the most powerful links are, and we've found a way to actually increase the power of your backlinks times 3 to times 5 power. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5 power. And if you we're working in an aggregate ranking system. So you might not need backlinks to rank in your teeny tiny little niche at this time in history right now, but they're definitely going to help you rank if you have them. And if you know how to get them, it's definitely a signal you should go and get to make your SEO plan that much more foolproof. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof. If you ever doubt anything I say, or you want to check, Josh, do you really know what you're talking about? Go to bit.ly/SEO proof and just look for yourself at all the examples of the successes we've had based on using our scientific methods. Backlinks are definitely included into that example set. So even if you might not need them to rank in a tiny little local niche or a tiny little global niche, or maybe even a slightly bigger niche that everyone else has been so spammy, they've been penalized, and there's nobody there with any backlinks at all. I see that all the time. I myself ranked a affiliate site in a skin cream niche for a long time, and it didn't have no backlinks. It had like 5 or 6 backlinks when everyone else had thousands of backlinks. And this was years ago. I was able to rank that affiliate site. It was a pretty spammy affiliate site. It was an exact match domain, so that gave it a big boost, and still does, a huge boost. And also, I knew someone who did really good Facebook. She's down here somewhere. she's one of these people here, and she was doing Facebook for it, and it made it look like a real site. So it had no follow backlinks from Facebook and shares and traffic back and forth and organic Facebook traffic and stuff like that. So it's possible in some niches to do it. Is it the easiest way? No. Is it the best way? No. Is it an optimal way? No. Is it the way you should go? Probably not. Not if you know how to get backlinks the way we do. The way our science has proven, you can acquire them organically and naturally. He's using quotations, people. He's using quotations when he says acquire. So the importance of them is that they're a ranking factor, just like any other ranking factor. And if your competitors have them, you're going to need them too. Otherwise, you ain't going to stay there. And over time, the logic of competition is just going to force us all to get every signal. And eventually, everyone's going to have backlinks again. And eventually, we're going to be in the same place we were a few years ago when everyone had links and it just was a race to the bottom, so to speak. All right. Sarah Toby ADJ asks, for a new website, what is your advice when it comes to publishing content for the first time? Once at a time or all of them at the same time? Sarah Toby, I don't know if that's your real name or not, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. You can publish all your articles at once. You can trickle them out. I would publish them all at once because the faster you publish them, the faster you can SEO them, the faster you can rank them. So I would publish them all. Okay. Dejan Marinkovic asks, what is by you best scientific testing method for 2019? Uh-oh. That's going to make me and Ted get into an argument. There's a lot of ways of scientifically testing the way we're scientifically testing SERPs, scientifically testing the search results pages. And they range from the most abstract and complicated down to the simplest. I'll label them this way. So we do what we're calling S3 VT, or statistically significant single variable testing. We're doing RSVT, which is relative single variable testing or relative variable testing. So these are methods where we're making pages hundreds at a time, and we're seeing what shakes out in terms of leaderboards, and over time, what seems to shake out in terms of rankings, and see what we can infer from kind of abstracting the pages in these ways. Then there's what's more like a spot test, which is more the testing that I like to do and the kind of testing that I pioneered. I didn't pioneer, that I've advanced, and Kyle Roof pioneered and also continues to advance as well, that we kind of like to prefer to do, which is single variable testing, where we'll have a test SERP of 5 or 10 or 100 pages of some kind of gibberish pages, and they're all exactly the same. They have all the exact same kind of factors, and we'll make one single little change of whatever kind, off page, on page, social or not, traffic or not, whatever it is. We could test pretty much, well, we could test a lot of different kind of common factors, and we break it down so that it's a single variable as much as possible. We let the pages maturate as long as possible so that they stay, like this page has been ranking number 3 forever out of 5 pages. Then we make one change, we get it fetched and indexed, and we see what small little blip we get. It's like we're tracking the seismograph. We put off a grenade and we just watch the boom, the little ripples we get, and we measure those ripples and we infer from that what that means. This gives a very high level of specific kind of knowledge. It's a very simple test. It's a very, not a childish, but it's a very simple way of doing the tests. It's not conceptually complex at all, but it is very, very precise, and it's able to produce what we've produced on Bitly SEO Proof. If we didn't know what we were doing, we wouldn't have such success in Bitly SEO Proof. My mentorship group wouldn't be going crazy ranking off the roof and making so much money. The vast majority of my mentorship students are having tremendous, tremendous success because of our scientific testing. So the proof is in the pudding. Some things we can test, some things we can't. Some tests are wonky, some tests are not. Some tests need to be redone, and we continually redo them. And I invite all that kind of testing that's being done there. And the next level of testing we do is what I call blended variable testing, where we actually put gibberish words in real pages ranking in real time in real search results pages, and we make comparative differences there. Now, it's not single variable, it's blended variable. So I call it blended variable testing, but it is, the way we do it, it is slightly more epistemologically sound. It's slightly more truthy. It's slightly more powerful in terms of inferring correlations or inferring causation than just a simple in the field test. Like you have a page ranking, you file a disavowal file, you wait to see what happens with all these updates going on and everything else going on. That you can barely tell anything from at all. And then the last kind of scientific testing we're doing is the measurement component. In my opinion, now Ted, you can come on here and argue if you want, but the last one, in terms of how epistemologically powerful it is, how transparent it is versus how opaque it is in terms of the inferences we can make for correlation versus causation, is the very powerful Korra piece of software. And don't get me wrong, just because I put it last on this list that I just pulled out of my butt right here, doesn't mean you shouldn't own it. You should. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. I do every day. Doesn't mean it isn't the best piece of SEO software out there. It is. It's just that just because when I run a report and it says that, I don't know, commas at the end of the page correlate really strongly with rankings doesn't necessarily mean that commas at the end of the page are a ranking factor, although they very well could be. And so what you do to adjudicate all this properly is you kind of look at all the data simultaneously, and you look at the correlation data too. And again, as we've already discussed earlier, that correlation data is getting much more powerful because now we're starting to crowdsource it, and then it starts to get much more powerful. And also you start maxing it, you start comparing it to the other values. When I have an experiment here that says that something's a ranking factor, and when I have an SSVT, an RSVT, an SVT, a BVT, and a Korra report saying something is a ranking factor, and for numerous factors I do, that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is a ranking factor, and it could be also a very powerful one. And the funny thing is that other people in the rest of the industry, they're just guessing and they don't know. There's certain ranking factors we know are mega powerful that all 5 levels of our ability to confirm ranking factors say are ranking factors, and they don't even know they are. They're not even using these factors as a ranking factor. So Ted, did I miss anything? Did you want to debate with some of that?
No, I think we're largely in agreement. You know, the correlation, I mean, that's really just tied to measurement. And, you know, anyone who thinks measurement is a bad idea is just crazy. So, yeah, it's a measurement tool. And so you have to be careful when you try to look for patterns and meaning in the measurements, because, you know, no signal technically is the faintest, most difficult thing in the world to measure. Mm-hmm. And people make a mistake all the time of finding signal when there is none. And so that's what you have to be careful of. And the things that I've been advocating for in testing are more controls and better reduction of variables. And, you know, I think conceptually everybody's on board with finding better best practices.
Definitely, always. I mean, even if you, at the end of the day, can't tell what kind of testing is better than other testing, it still helps to look at the data different ways and to have different kinds of pages just to see what the Google monster does when you feed it this, or what the Google monster does when you feed it that. You can discover things you didn't even realize you're going to discover, which I think you would agree you've seen that in your testing. Okay, so yeah, so that's a kind of a longer explanation of the kind of testing that we're doing. I can't really get much more specific than that into our methods. There's a lot of secrets there. There's a lot of trade knowledge you're going to have to learn. It's not always as simple as I mentioned. There's a lot of ways of doing that you're going to have to figure out little secrets and little tricks to get around Google and the roadblocks they try to put up to stop us from getting this knowledge. And so I fully endorse anybody out there who wants to go do their own testing, but sadly, I cannot tell you how we do our testing. It's kind of a trade secret. The livelihood of all my mentorship students relies on it. And so obviously, ethically, I can't let that out. But I definitely say go do testing if you can figure out how to do it. By all means, go do it, because you will only confirm what we've been seeing. And now we have another scientific group. You can test our tests and we can test your tests. So I fully, if you've got your own test suite set up and you're starting to get good results and sensible results that you don't think have been polluted by any kind of mistakes or any kind of bias, contact me. I'd love to show you my results versus your results, and we can start testing each other's results, because that's where knowledge comes in. That's where Every single scientific advance that we enjoy today as a modern society came from scientists struggling and urging to whether philosophical, political, ethical, or physical scientists of the various kinds, struggling to innovate, struggling to find better ways, struggling to find better knowledge, struggling to find more assured capability for power. Knowledge is power, as Francis Bacon said when he started the modern revolution, roughly in the 16th century. You could argue after Machiavelli perhaps argued for this exact same thing in The Prince. So the century before. So that's the road we've been on ever since Plato and Aristotle. And our society has just gotten better and better and better with it. And SEO now, we're modeling the same success, and we're getting better and better and better and better with it. And it's a very bright future if you join the right groups. And if you have the right measuring software. Like Ted said, try, just use a metaphor, try building a house without a measuring tape. It's not going to go so well. Okay, Lego lady, I think I know who that is, says, for a new website, what would be your strategy for launching it to get rankings ASAP? Wow, what a question. So it depends on the website, but you're going to go through a period. Instagram manager says, I'm here, Josh. Do not worry. Phew. Okay, good. I was worried for a second. But Lego Lady says, for a new website, what would be your strategy for launching it to get new rankings ASAP?
That's a multi-part question, because there's how do you get it indexed quickly, which is one thing, but how you do a successful website launch, it's a whole nother set of questions. Right,
of course. So off the top of my head, in general, this is what you would need to do. You got to do your proper keyword research. You got to build your pages out correctly, so that there's not overlap. Did you have complete absorption of the correct semantic for that search, and no overabsorption of semantics of other searches, so that Tank Brain is not going to randomly choose the wrong page to rank for the right query? Then you need to get that all written out, all flushed out. You need to measure all that with Korra and Pop, also as you could use as well. Put them together, use our single variable experiments as a base to know what ranks and what doesn't, and smooch that knowledge together to get your page set created properly. Then you need to get it indexed correctly. And there can be problems there. I mean, if there's lots of pages, that's going to take time. There is no sandbox per se, but you're going to have to take time to generate a quality score. So then the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get Facebook traffic to your site. They're going to have to like your site. They're going to have to convert. They're going to have to appreciate your site. They're going to have to do the right things. Your user interface has got to be smooth. Your speed's got to be slick. That's going to have to happen there. And Google's going to have to see that you have a quality score. Then you're going to need to see at that point if you need to make adjustments in terms of your on-page. You might need to build your entity out more. That's where you might want to do a GMB kind of entity build, whether you're ranking locally or not. Or Wikipedia pages, other kind of pages. Ratings and reviews will be another kind of thing to help build that out. Also provide a quality/trust signal. There's lots of little ranking bits here and there you're going to need to do, which are kind of isolated that you just kind of throw in at that time or before you launch it. And then you're going to have to see whether or not you're going to need backlinks. You probably will for most niches. So that in a nutshell is how you would get it going and how you would do it quickly. If you do it right, you could be ranking within a week. If you do it wrong, it could take months to years. It depends on your competition, how good their quality scores are. If you're trying to break into a niche that has Walmart and Amazon and eBay, and it seems to have very good conversions and people seem to be very satisfied with those pages, good luck. It's going to take months for you to get the proper quality score and authority. You can get where you can beat them is the first portion of the relevancy. A lot of them don't realize how important on-page SEO is, and we do based on our scientific experiments.
Yeah. For the indexing part, you can typically get the ball rolling within 24 hours by going into Google Search Console, doing a fetch and render and request indexing. And if you have a local business, if it's like a Seattle plumber or something like that, you really need to reach out to somebody like Jordan Pierce, because these local SEO guys, they can instantly get you ranking like within the hour. So you got to find the right local guys, and because that local SEO, those tactics are all instant. So you'll want to reach out to them. But if it's not a local website, then you can usually get indexing started within 24 hours.
Yes, I agree entirely. And Jordan is in the chat, so ask Jordan about that. He's also welcome to come on to the Hangout. He's always welcome anytime. Sarah Toby asks, is Kyle Roof's video from 2017 or 2016 about single variable testing, how to do single variable testing in 2019? No, it's not. Not in my opinion. That might be still the way he does it, but there are some very critical differences between the way Kyle does it and the way I do it that I think are not trivial. So that's not quite how I do it. It's close. If that's how you want to do it, go ahead. But I don't like using lorem ipsum. I don't even like using English ipsum. I like using alphanumeric gibberish on the hunch and suspicion that Google doesn't know what to do with it. It's not going to have any special algorithm for it. And my testing seems to have borne that out, as opposed to maybe having some kind of sentiment analysis, even on random English words, and maybe having now a filter that Kyle's tests were outed. I don't want to be doing it the way Kyle's doing it because I don't want my test to be caught in the same filter.
Yeah, and Kyle's changing his methods. He's adapting to reduce error and expand controls. And so, yeah, that was a great standard when it was written. It's no longer the standard today.
Right. So, sorry, Ted, go ahead.
Oh, my phone.
That's Kyle calling you. Shh, quiet. Don't tell them my secrets. Okay. Instagram manager says, I'm looking fit. Josh is looking fit. I see you're back training. I'm always training. The question is how hard. I'm always training. I'm always out there. Tonight I'm going to do some grappling. Darren, tonight I'm going to push my 260 pounds of pressure onto somebody's body and crush them in the head. No, I won't do that. Darren asks, do map embeds work for local map rankings? Well, Darren, that's an excellent question. Jordan might have an opinion on that. I see he says he's testing it. I don't think map embeds are a good idea. I like Jordan's old recommendation that you just have an image to the map and you click it. I did do I have worked on sites that had a huge map embed. The whole front page of the site was a map embed, but it also did have some ranking problems. So, I don't know. But we've never tested that specifically. We did test embedding videos, and 5 out of 6 tests for embedding videos demoted. So we're not doing it anymore. I don't recommend it. Sarah Toby says, Josh, please give us a hint for what we should do single variable testing so we can send you our results. Use the 2016 or 2017 method that you see Kyle using for now if you want. I can't release the way I'm doing it, but you can try it that way if you like and give it a shot. Instagram manager says, hey, Ted, I got a question for you about residential proxies. Ted, residential proxy only when increasing CTR. Also, I have a client. Would you drive traffic, etc., to a new page that is not indexed?
I tested residential proxies. I tested everything I could spend money on to test as far as bot traffic and CTR rate, and none of it worked. It was a total waste of time and money. I think there are better things to do with your time and money to get real results. So until I see it work under scientific testing, I just don't believe it works.
Yeah, I agree. I think BOT traffic, bot traffic, computer traffic, I don't think that's actually a ranking factor. I don't think it's going to work. I think that Google's going to be able to track all that. Google's going to be able to see all that. The only time I've seen fake traffic work or black hat traffic work is when it was natural people and not micro workers, not crowd search. I've never seen that work. That's had no scientific proof. The only scientific proof I've had for traffic is random people, real actual people. And that does work either within a few days I got it to work or worked in a few weeks. A few days for bad signals, a few weeks for good signals. He-Man 1320 says, would you rather rank a site for one keyword or for many? Skyscraper. That's a great question. I don't believe in the skyscraper technique at all. It has no scientific basis to believe that it ranks. I think it's complete bullshit. It's complete BS. I think our tests have shown this, both my tests and most of some of Kyle's tests as well. The other question, would you rather rank a site for one keyword or for many? It's totally up to you. However many keywords for you are going to be lucrative. You could rank a site for 1 or 2 keywords. You could rank a site for 10 or 20 or 100. It has to do with planning out your keyword family structures and then going for those keywords that are going to be worthwhile. So, but that doesn't mean I would use the skyscraper method. In fact, the skyscraper method has nothing to do with anything. Ignore it, drop it out of your head, forget about it. Ted, did you have an opinion on that?
Well, the latest research hints that keyword density is really the thing. So when we ran test cases for 5, 6, 7,000 keyword matches on page, we maintained those tests at about 10% keyword density. And then we also ran test cases from 1% keyword density all the way up to 75% keyword density. And let's just say keyword density looks like it's the thing. Even though the 75% keyword density was only about 500 word count overall, the 7,000 match count page that was tens of thousands of words, the skyscraper test case, slotted in at 10%. So it was way below. So it looks like from the data that you can get the result you want with far less content just by being mindful of keyword density.
Yes. Now, a proviso, a small proviso, do not go and make your page 75% keyword dense. That will be unreadable by humans.
You stop having grammar after about 20%.
Yes.
And the name of the game isn't to get 75% keyword density, even though we tested up to that level. We were looking to see if Google was algorithmically penalizing keyword density, and they are clearly not.
Not at this time, no.
And really, all you need to have is 1% more than your competitors. So
yes, and that's where a measurement tool like Korra would come in very handy. That's what I use it for, and other things as well that it notices that I might not notice. So yeah, so just realize if you want to know what 75% keyword density would be, it'd be like there's 10 words on the page. And it says apples, 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 Josh likes. Like that's what the sentence would be if you're trying to rank for apples or something along those lines. So you don't really want to do that, even though we're testing it. So you got to know how to interpret the tests as well. And that's the biggest problem, is how to interpret the tests. You do this crazy test and you're like, what does this tell us? I don't know. And you just keep doing tests until the algorithms start to become manifest to you, like Plato's forms start to reveal themselves in the desert of the real.
Yeah, the other interesting thing is that this potentially explains why some people can cut or remove content from a page and see improvement. If you cut away parts of the content that don't use your keywords, you're actually increasing keyword density and moving up. And then, you know, the vast majority of people who say, oh, Tool X said I had too much content, so I cut away half my content and my rankings went to hell. Well, you cut away your keyword usage and your rankings went to hell. So be mindful of keyword density.
Yeah, I mean, or just, that's like going to a soothsayer, going to an astrologist, and the astrologist says you need to cut your hand off because you're going to get cancer in it. Would you actually cut your hand off? So then why are you going to other websites of people who don't do scientific SEO testing and they say you need to shorten your content? Why are you listening to them? Why would you think that's a good idea to do? You have no idea what signals are important. You have no idea what signals you're removing or you're adding. You have no idea what you're doing. So you can't listen to people like that. You need to get into groups that are doing the scientific testing, or get on software that is doing the scientific testing. Again, Korra is at bit.ly/get-Korra. You could join my mentorship group. We have a few spots left. They're getting eaten up by the day. secretseo.guru. That's secretseo.guru. Or you could email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You'll also get Facebook support in there. The lovely Melissa is in there to give us Facebook support as well. Okay, so that ends the questions there in the Q&A section. So I would like a final segment today. I'd open it up to anyone here. What are your final thoughts? Where do you think things are going? If you had to give a couple-minute recommendation to people, what would it be? Anyone and everyone, unless anyone here has any more questions. Ted?
Oh, I'd just say the focus on the basics. The thing we've been noticing really this year is that, all the SEO techniques from 2007 are all back in play again. The other thing we've noticed is that all the black hat techniques from 2007 are back in play again. So it looks like Google at some point hit a massive undo button and rolled back the clock, and it's not advanced super AI territory. That's not what we're seeing. So.
No. And it's so important. And you got to get with a group. I know I sound like a broken record, but you got to get with a group that's doing scientific measurement and testing, because otherwise you would never have known that happened. You would never know how to take advantage of it. You would never know what that meant in context if you weren't doing testing. Let's see here. We have a couple more questions. One more. Okay. What about sites sending traffic, real random people to your website with fixed time, like 30 seconds? It would always be 30 seconds. Will be working. No. That assumes that dwell time is a ranking factor. And have you scientifically tested dwell time as a ranking factor? I have. Kyle has. So if that's a ranking factor, then maybe that would help. But that would be a pretty easy factor to game, wouldn't it? And I don't think that Google would be doing that.
And you could spend that time and money on getting 25 people into a webinar for your product or service. And I think that might be a better use of time.
Yes. Or going onto Facebook and buying, probably for cheaper, real traffic who might actually be interested and who might bookmark you, come back, share you, like you, those kinds of things. So you guys are not listening. You're not hearing me. An Instagram manager after said, no, it's not natural. How do you know? I don't know who Instagram manager is. Maybe you're one of my students, maybe not. But how would you know that's not natural? That's not the right answer either. You don't know whether it's natural or not, and you haven't scientifically tested whether being natural is better or not. I can tell you being unnatural is quite good in many cases, and I know this with full scientific facts because and only because I've tested it. So stop all the bullshit SEO debating, all the bullshit SEO forums. Join a group that's actually doing real scientific testing. You don't know if dwell time is actually a ranking factor, and you don't know if this will work until you do some actual testing. And you can't say it's natural or not. You can't say whether it will work or not until you do some scientific testing. And until you do this, your SEO is off in the reeds. You might as well take a bunch of dice and throw them in the air and see where they land. And if you roll all snake eyes, then you'll rank. Like it's like you're totally guessing. It's total random BS. You have no idea. So on that note, that's where I'm going to end this happy white hat versus black hat SEO show. I would like to thank Melissa, Ted, and the panel and everyone for being here. And if you have any more SEO questions about how to do SEO science, email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. If you want to join my mentorship group, which has proven results using scientific methods, email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com or go to secretseo.guru. And also, if you have any questions for Ted about Korra, you can go to SEOtoollab.com, right? SEOtoollab.com, Ted?
Yep, yes. SEOtoollab.com.
SEOtoollab.com. And if you want to get that discount I was talking about for Korra, go to bit.ly/get-Korra. and that's 25% off, which I would strongly recommend. Of course, if you want to join my mentorship group, students get free demos of Korra and Korra at 30% off because we're an educational institute, and Ted gave us educational pricing, which was very nice. But you got to be part of my mentorship group to get that. So thanks very much, everyone, for watching. As I can't stress enough, guys, do not go on the forums. Do not go on a single other SEO forum. It's not going to help you at all. Do your own SEO experiments. You got to do your own SEO experiments, or measure with Korra, and or join a group that does their own SEO experiments and measures with Korra and does tons of other kind of experiments of various kinds that we've been talking about with increasingly academic and scientific stringent standards that produce results like science does in the real world. You either have to be doing experiments yourself or join a group like that, or you're not going to get anywhere. You're screwed. You're hooped. Get out of SEO now. I'm dead serious. If you're not doing SEO science, get out of SEO now because you're done. You're going to get fired. Your job is over. You're going to lose all your sites, and that's going to be it. But I have a solution for you. Do SEO experiments. Do your own experiments. Go look up that article that person was talking about, how to do experiments from 2016 or 17, or join my group, and we will share you all of our scientific results, and you will get better. You will get ranking boosts and advancements right away. You will not believe the advancements you will get, and also using Korra to measure things, you will not believe how powerful that is.
Hey, Josh. What would you tell a beginner is the first experiment they should run just to prove testing to them?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, if you're going to use Kyle's methods, that means you're using lorem ipsum text that all has the same keywords in the same places on all the pages. First off, you're going to have to get them all indexed. That might be difficult. But once you get them all indexed and they're all basically maturated, so they're all kind of ranking, they're not jostling around too much. They're all ranking pretty much in the same spot for weeks, if not months. Then throw an extra keyword in the body. If you want to see keywords are as important as Ted and I say they are, throw an extra keyword in the body. And so one page has slightly more keywords than the rest, and see what happens to it, and get it indexed, fetch and render it in Search Console, and see what happens. The hypothesis is that maybe it'll go up, according to Ted and I, but we'll see, and science will prove us right or wrong. So thank you very much. So go ahead, guys, try that test. Let us know what you find out. Thanks very much for watching. As I'd like to say, for those about to rank, we salute you, and good luck in the SERPs. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.